Well, good morning and welcome to the trade setup right here on BloombergQuint Live. The big news that was the talk of town all through the last few days, weeks, months is finally out of the bag. So I don't need to tell you that. All of us know that Joe Biden has won in the presidential election. Now, the key is I want to start off with this because, the world markets are gyrating a bit here and there to what could be happening or what the after effects of this could be. The post-election rally continues. And therefore, what the US markets did on Friday is not important, but what the US futures are indicating today is important. But keep in mind that Joe Biden's victory in the election and the unresolved status of Senate control leave slim prospects of a stimulus getting passed, a major fiscal stimulus package, let me put it that way, before January. I think a lot of people are now opining that maybe, just maybe, the large economic stimulus package would not come. That's the near-term question, really. There are prospects of a major US fiscal package before January slim. So that is one. Keep in mind that while Donald Trump last month pledged a large post-election stimulus, it was based on his assumption that he will win. Now that he's not won, or presumably not won, he has very little political incentive or capital to drive a deal through. And therefore, that stimulus package, which was going to be the big bonanza for equity markets, that those prospects are slim. So that's the first thing you have to keep in mind. Now, in light of all of this, what is it that the world markets are doing? That's the key question to be asked. So Asia started off well today. Dow futures too are pointing towards a rally, keep in mind, but Asia started off reasonably okay today, you have to admit. There's a bit of green on the screen for almost all the Asian bourses. And therefore, by virtue of that, I reckon that the SGX Nifty 2 would be pointing towards a start in the green. So I'll be very surprised if we don't have a start in the green. The question only is, how much further can we go through? We will move ahead for sure. Can we move ahead with a lot of gusto, or will it be a bit of a tempered move? That's the key thing. So 150 points takes us very, very close, viewers, remember, to the levels at which we'll be closer to all-time highs. Maybe just not there, but much higher than the March highs. And I'll get you those levels as well. By the way, you also have to watch out, viewers. Okay, this is level. Thank you to my producer for getting that. So two key levels that everybody needs to watch out for based on Friday's close. The high in January was 12,352, and it is higher than that. So 12,400 odd is where we will get to. So therefore, we'll have a start which is positive and a start higher than January. The point is, the all-time high is at 12,430, and will we be able to eclipse that, or will we be in and around that? That's the thing that we have to figure out. Let's wait and watch. I mean, if we cross all-time highs today, that will be quite magical. So keep that in mind. But anyways, which brings me, and for the bank Nifty as well, by the way, some very key levels. I think we'll eclipse the March levels very, very easily if we indeed start off the way we are supposed to start off today. So we might well hit all-time highs in the session today. That will be something really. And we'll have the perfect guy to talk about it, S. Narain, today at 10:30 a.m. But what is the trade setup telling us? So the trade setup tells us that Nifty and Nifty Bank are above all key moving averages. You have to bear that in mind, that we are above all key moving averages, 50, 100, 200 moving averages. The 5 straight days of gains last week takes the Nifty to the highest level since January. I would presume that Reliance and banks hold the key to the indices doing better than from where they will start off. So keep that in mind. Because Reliance has underperformed the Nifty so much, there is some pull back possibility. And if banks continue to move higher because they've underperformed, then that really adds to the flavor on the index. I somehow believe that despite the fact that they've taken a bit of a backseat, Pharma could be front runners today because of results like Divi's, Cipla, etc., and Biocon getting that money. So all of those would be very, very important. So in light of all of this, what are the stocks that I'm watching out for today? Well, there are a few that stand out. One of them would be Balkrishna Industries, and purely because the numbers looked so good. And there is also a bit of a caveat to this, by the way, but here's what the finer features were, and then of course we'll get to the numbers as well. But the fine points, the Q2 takeaways, volume at 35.5%. That is just quite significant. The most bullish note was Nomura, which had priced in a 24% volume growth. This is 35% volume growth on the back of strong demand for agrarian tires. They've increased the volume guidance as well marginally for FY21. But I must say that the guidance has been a bit conservative. They have now said that they will move into the black in terms of volume versus flat volumes. And that is not encouraging for a company which has seen a 35% growth in Q2. I would have thought that they would do much better on the guidance front, but they've just been a bit more muted. I presume they are being conservative given the uncertainty around the reimposition of lockdown across various countries in the European Union. But the numbers were good, much higher than estimates on the revenue front, much higher than estimates on the bottom line front, and EBITDA and margins too. 34% margins versus estimates of 30% is nothing to scoff at. So really good show put up by Balkrishna Industries. And which is, I think, that there will be a bit of a pop. There could be a bit of a selling post that Kotak has a sell after the results. Edelweiss says they reduce the stock. So there could be a bit of a pullback afterwards. But I do think that the numbers deserve a bit of a, how do I say it? A bit of a pop-up might come in for that. The other two which stand out for me on the pharma pack, one of them is Divi's Lab. Very good numbers. Revenues at 1749, the estimates were 1658. Net profit at 519 crores, margins much higher than estimated. On that base, they've clocked in EBITDA margins of 42%. That's just quite stellar. The reduction of material and finance costs aided the profitability. They've announced a capex of 400 crores to address new business opportunities in the custom synthesis projects, which is actually a very high margin project. And a Jefferies note stated that what Divi's numbers and the commentary does is give a lot of visibility for FY22. That is something that the market would like. So it's an expensive stock, but I reckon it'll do well. Similarly for Cipla, I think the numbers, well, the revenues were about 5,038 crores. The estimates were 4,670. Net profit 665. Estimates were 585. Margins versus estimates of 22% came in at 23%. And again, out here too, the fact that the company's done so well and the outlook seems to be positive on the con call seems to suggest that maybe Cipla too would actually have a day in the green. So watch out for both of these, and which is why I said that the pharma companies might well be front runners today. There's Glenmark also, which has done well, and I'll get to Biocon why too. But since we're talking about numbers first, I want to finish off with the numbers and the commentaries. So Vedanta, they came out with numbers. I'm leaving the numbers out because, I mean, there had a lot of variables to that. But I think what will be top of mind of the investors' minds would be the fact that the intercompany corporate loans continue unabated, and there is low clarity on the dividend which they received from various quarters, including Hindustan Zinc. But the market was hoping for some clarity around that, and there is very low clarity on the corporate call, which the company did. As a result of which, I would presume that Vedanta, even on a good day, might have some pain to itself. So do watch out for this one. But yeah, pharma remains firmly in focus, and Biocon would be one more stock that people should be watching out for. Biocon Biologics, which is moving towards an IPO in 2021, has received one more set of investors. So Goldman Sachs has put in about $150 million of capital injection in Biocon Biologics, and therefore Biocon would be a stock that will be in focus. And last but not the least, Dilip Buildcon. It's an L1 bidder for development and operation, as I read out, of a Sirimal open cast project in Odisha. The mineable reserve that the mine has a contract value of 37,000 crores. So per year, the numbers would come down, of course, because there's only the contract value. But yeah, good win for Dilip Buildcon. It's got one more, it's been an L1 in one more project, and therefore it could do well too. Last but not the least, also keep in mind, viewers, that oil could pull back today because Joe Biden has stated that he might be a bit more lenient towards Iran. And if Iran puts in more oil into the already oversupplied market, then oil prices could come off. So therefore, watch out for crude oil and watch out for IT stocks. On the immigration front and the H-1B visa front, again, he might have different policies, and you never know, IT stocks could benefit today. So therefore, that's the other leg up that you've got to watch out for in the Indian markets. So this is the other thing that everybody will be watching out for. Keep in mind, amongst other things, I think yesterday ANI News reported that there is a breakthrough in sight for the India-China military standoff on LAC, while India will move ahead cautiously, but that's one more shot in the arm. So you have multiple triggers today, and we are going to start off well. So maybe, just maybe, your trade bias should be on the positive side, considering that the Dow futures too are trading about 300 points higher. Be careful if you are trading shorts, but yeah, companies like Vedanta could hurt. But oil down, so therefore oil beneficiaries, IT stocks, pharma stocks, all of these should be kept in focus. Don't miss out on Balkrishna Industries too. All of these would be the firm trading points in the session today. Thanks so much for tuning in and have a fabulous trading day ahead.